Hello, everyone, and good time zone, as our wonderful president likes to say. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful time with our online gathering and all these great workshops and learning and expanding and sharing. And it's always just a thrill. Just a little something for people to who don't know me. Shame on you. But I am Master Angelus Kalin. I am one of the director of administration for the IJF and also one of the leaders for the Chicago Jedi. And so I've been with the Jedi community for now, it's been more than half my life. Yes, I'm on. Yeah, so that's amazing to have been with the Jedi for since 2005. So it's been about over 20
Oh,
years now.
no. No, no,
Well,
no. You can't
no,
say
no.
more than half my life and then
Well,
because that's the
yes.
same for me. You can't say that. We can't be that old.
Well, that's since
No.
2005, since the gathering, and I've been with the online community a little bit more than that. So yes, yeah,
That's
yes.
wild.
I know, isn't it? I was reflecting on that now that it's like the end of the year and just kind of, wow, okay, yes. Yes,
Ancient. You know
ancient.
what? Ancient is better than old fogey, so I'll go with ancient.
Yes, ancient. Or as or as I like to hear, elder. I'm an elder in the community. I am uh, a w- a wisdom holder. Yes. I haven't reached doddering quite yet, but I know I could. But yes, and so just I love everything about the Jedi. And another thing about me is I love gardening, spending time out in nature. I'm very much an earth person. I only like water for it to water the earth. That's it. I do not exist in water. I exist on earth. That's
Unless Allie makes them.
yes. But yes, so I'm just
But it
very
is true.
happy to be
He's not
here.
a fan of water.
Yes, yes. Just still very happy to be here and talk about another one of my passions. I was actually surprised that it became one of mine, and that's Stoicism. It was something I was introduced to almost 10 years ago, and it was very odd just because I've always thought about, how you always hear about this, a person who's very stoic as somebody who's very reserved, very hands off, very like removed from the world. But and I felt that was not Jedi. But as I read more about Stoicism, it's like, no, actually, this is very Jedi. It's all, we are only looking at the perceptions or our misconceptions, I should say. But as we study more about it, we see how it very aligns very well. And so the way I like to think about it first is actually, this is, I think, a very commonality that us Jedi have with the Stoics of the ancient times. And that is how many of you have actually wandered into a bookstore, or at least when bookstores did exist. But yes, wander into a bookstore and just pick up a book, and we're suddenly just like changed by it. And I'm hoping that that's a few people in here. And it could have been even a Star Wars book. It could have been a Harry Potter book. It could have been any kind of book, but something that's just changed your life. And that's actually what happened with a person by the name Zeno of Cyprus. He was a wealthy merchant and he was sailing all over through the Mediterranean, and then he just got shipwrecked. And he then was now stranded away from home. He had no money, no possessions. It had all gone away. And he was just wondering what is he going to do with his life. And that's when he just wanders into a bookshop, picks up something by Socrates, just starts reading, and his whole life, his whole outlook was changed. And he is basically known as the founder of Stoicism, which teaches things about virtue, tolerance, and self control. And these are all things that are actually echoed in the Jedi Compass as well. So, as I said before, Stoicism is not about showing no emotion, having no emotion. It's actually about being calm under pressure and trying to minimize all the external forces to just avoid having the emotions take its control over you. Let's see. Let me go ahead to this one quote. I'm gonna have things all over the place here. And this is by Seneca, another person who wrote very prolifically about Stoicism. And this is in Of a Happy Life, book 16. And it goes, be subject to no restraint and to no want. You shall be free, safe, unhurt. You shall fail in nothing that you attempt. You shall be debarred from nothing. Everything shall turn out according to your wish. No misfortune shall befall you. Nothing shall happen to you except what you expect and hope for. And that sounds like, well, how can that be? Like, how can you actually be in control of your life? But that's the thing, you actually are in control of your life. You may not be in control of all the external forces, all the things that are happening to you, but what you can control are your reactions, how you interact and adapt. I know Allie is actually very much like this when she does any of her planning. In fact, she does way too much planning, I think. But just calling this out as that this is actually very much a Stoic idea, a Stoic practice. You think of every possible outcome that happens. The moment you wake up saying like, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z. If something prevents me from doing X, Y, and Z, what then do I do? Or if now that when I do this, if these people react this way or if this people react, then what do I do next? So you can always kind of plan. And of course, not everything will always go according to the plan, but at least you've prepared a little bit and can always adapt. And it is a little time consuming at first, but this is on the front end. And it's designed so that when those things happen to you in those actual times of stress and those times of crisis or turmoil, you already got it. Saying that, oh, I was already training for this. I was already planning for this. So now I know, okay, if so and so was going to yell at me, I know I was going to do it this way. Or if I know this much workload was going to get tasked to me, these are the priorities I need to take. And so you're already kind of gauging it. So then that way, when those things happen, you're already prepared, you're already set. And that is just Jedi training in itself. Going from point A to point B, you're trying to become a knight so that once you're a knight, any of these situations that you encounter, you already got it. It's okay. And then go same with going towards the mastership or just any point along in the whole Jedi path. You're preparing for these eventualities, these things that may happen. And that's when it's like, oh, so now because you are in control of your own life, you're in control of your own uh, interactions and control of your behavior, you're also kind of in control of your own emotions and feelings. Because again, you've kind of slotted time to do these things so that you can actually breathe and exist in those moments. Now, I want to pose a question. Now, knowing this, what things in your life have you planned for and gone exactly the way that you planned?
That's why I plan for everything.
Yes. Yes. All right. Dan?
Okay, I guess I can say some of the things I've planned for in my life are events that we planned for with Chicago Jedi, where I always try to plan as much as I can out. So that way, like you said, if there is certain contingencies that come along, they're taken care of. Uh, Planning for some of these events lately, I've planned to at least have one level of accomplishment, and I'm glad to say that several times they have far exceeded what I've wanted, even though several of my plans never got used. They were there in case they were needed. And so, my plans will have priorities. Certain things have to take place. Other things are contingency plans for along the way. So I don't see as over planning is a bad thing, but I am only strictly going to adhere to certain plans, and the others I have there as loose plans for, as I said, contingencies.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, again, like everything may not go exactly according to plan, but yes, you can just at least plan for the more common things. And that way, when they do occur, then yeah, you're all set for it.
Yeah, that way, when something does come up that's outside of what you ever planned for, you're still less burdened by, other possibilities.
Anybody else?
I would say for me, it's the present. I mean, I plan for the present moment, and I like to plan things like 5 years and 10 years in advance. So then, if I see it, then I feel like if I see it, then it becomes so. And so everything that's going on, especially today, like I planned for it, I've seen it, so here we are. Mhm.
I think now people may be thinking about the big events that you plan for. So let's take it back and just go, oh, what about a day? Just a regular day. Who plans for the regular day? Yep. And I think that that's the way to take it. Just go on a daily routine. Just, okay, today is now Sunday. On my schedule is to do this class, to clean the house, to go do groceries. Like, so you have those things. And then you build off that, say, okay, well, now I know that I may run into this or run into that or run into that. Uh, because it was raining, I said, okay, I need to make sure to check on the sewers around my place. And I'm glad I did because I was actually able to catch flooding just before it happened. So that literally happened about 20 minutes ago. But because it was on my schedule of things to do, just because I knew of the way weather can work, then I was able to handle it and not freak out, and it's all okay. So see, just like little things like that, just little things that you can plan for. And those who go to the gym regularly, what set are you going to do? What exercises? What weights? There's little things like that for nutrition. Okay, today I'm going to make sure to hit this much in protein, this much in calories. Like all of these little pre-planning things make the day kind of go by a little faster. You've made a lot of the hard part already, those decisions, so that when it happens, okay, now you can just take this container of food and that's what you're eating. You're at the gym, you're going to do this. Okay, somebody's at this machine now. I can't do that one. So I'll go to the one that was next on my list and then go back to that machine when it's free. That planning, that's all part of the Stoic mindset. You're just getting ready for the day. And when you do those little steps, it makes the bigger steps a little easier. When you have to encounter those hard conversations with clients, with coworkers, with bosses, then again, you're doing a lot of the legwork so that when it happens, you freed up that mental space to actually just exist in the present. Okay. I'll go ahead and delve a little bit more now into because planning is one part of Stoicism, but there's other things that you need to keep in mind. That Stoicism is also about self-improvement. And that's because, yeah, the world is built on cause and effect. There are things that we can control, things that we can't control, and, and the things that we can't control, we want to control, but that's the wrong mindset. So again, the thing that we can control is ourself, control our reactions to things. And the way to do that were through four cardinal virtues, through wisdom, through temperance, through justice, and through courage. And wisdom is exactly as most people know. It's just taking things through a calm manner, evaluating things based off of evidence, gaining as much information as you can, and just trying to stay as informed and logical as possible. Temperance is just being able to exercise some self-restraint, just leading a life in moderation. And I always love the phrase moderation in all things, including moderation. Yeah, sometimes you just need that night out to just go party and go crazy. But then the next day you just go back to remind yourself, like, okay, that's why now I'm this old. I remember why I don't do that anymore. But you need those little reminders. And justice, again, you just want to make sure that you treat others with fairness. Because again, it's like the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated, or don't treat others the way you don't want to be treated. So if you want somebody to be fair with you, you got to show that fairness to others as well. And especially when they have done wrong. Because if when you're, again, if the shoe is on the other foot and you're on the other end, how do you want to be treated? You want to be treated fairly. And then this is the biggest one, just courage. You want to face all of these daily challenges with clarity, with integrity, and that is going to probably be the toughest thing because the world is kind of set against us in the fact that we just don't have control over those things. And it can be tough to go out that door and face new things, to encounter people who may not always like you, just any number of things. That takes a lot of courage. But every day you live, you survive. And that shows just how strong and resilient you are. So we have wisdom, temperance, justice, courage. What do those things sound like in our Jedi Compass? I know some of them are word for word, but go ahead and I'm inviting people. Where do you see the parallels?
I'm not giving anybody any hints, but I will send you a link. We'll send you a link if you need it.
Yes.
And that'll be the biggest hint you get. Since somebody called me out yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to say, yep. Again, how is those just like the Jedi path? Well, they are four
And can you write them
basic four
down in
pillars.
here just so everybody
Yes,
remembers which ones they are?
I can do that. So we've got
See there, I'm helping you all.
wisdom, temperance, justice, courage. People not know their Jedi Compass? It's just being put on the yeah, being put on the spot.
He's got the
True.
book. Okay, so one of these changed from what's in the book,
Yes.
and it's a little
Yes, we
bit
also added
more
one.
appropriate.
Yes, the wording may be different, but the basic ideas are still there.
Yeah. Yeah, which I've already noted, replace put the noting in the book.
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, I love
Right there.
that. Okay, fine. I'll
Yes,
give you
yes.
guys a hint. Here's three that I came up with off the top of my head. Oh, actually, one more.
Discipline.
Yep.
Actually, discipline, responsibility, business,
Mm-hmm.
in positive regards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Objectivity. And fortitude.
Yes.
They're all good.
Yeah, absolutely. All four of these are in the compass, and they're just spread out. Yes, because again, wisdom is all about, yes, getting the information. It's about that objectivity, just trying to see everything that's happening out there. We see the justice with the positive regard, with the duty to all. Uh, we even see justice as well as, I would say, wisdom with respect the law. Yes, we see self-discipline and fortitude are all about the training. It's all in all the different ones.
And compassion, which was added. You put that one in there, right? That one did not change. That was added. And so was self-care.
Yes,
In which case you can't have any of these without self-care. Which goes to that moderation, right?
absolutely. Because it's literally, yeah, moderation in all parts of life. So yeah, it's the self-care. You want to make sure, yeah, you take care of yourself, which is, yeah, sometimes you do need to just go over on your calories that one day, take that day of rest from the training to deconnect from the internet. Yes, Defender Joraz.
Yeah, for me, it's really difficult to maintain self-care, even though I know it's important when, there's bad things happening to me. I'm facing a very difficult situation with injustice right now. So, do you have any tips, on what I could do to kind of get through it? You know?
Yes, yes, good. And actually, you're hitting on to how do we put these things into practice? Because that will be definitely a thing that is done in Stoicism on this whole idea of self-care. How do we do that? And one of the ways to do that is, uh, as we've said, as I'm sure it's been stated elsewhere, is through meditation. That is one thing that is necessary to just calm your mind so that when these things happen, you are ready for it. Another thing that they do talk about is that this is one that's been that I've used very frequently is what they call the view from above. That while you're in a situation, you take on the role of the observer. One of my own mentors had said is like pretend you're on the dance floor, but imagine that you're in the rafters, also looking down. So you just take that time to remove yourself, to basically examine exactly what's happening, what's the cause that's going on, what are the emotions that are at play, even recognizing your own emotions. And once you realize what those driving factors are, then you can go ahead and then do something about it, even if it is to just remove yourself. Because sometimes you could just be in a toxic situation, just say like, nope, this is not what I need to do right now. This is not necessary for my time. I am better doing something else. Saying no is a very powerful thing. And sometimes that's what exactly you need to do. And the same thing with like injustice, you just got to do whatever you can that ensures that you are, yeah, just around to fight another day. Let's see, something I will, yeah, I'll bring up is like, yeah, there was a time when I was arguing with one of my own best friends about situations that were happening as a Hispanic male and a gay Hispanic male at that. There was a lot of situations that I will encounter on a daily basis, more than my friend who has a lot of privilege, and that they're not cognizant of all that privilege that they have, because again, they're just not under these kinds of situations. And I we were getting into heated debates because that person was just not recognizing all these things. And I did not want to, start doing any name calling. I recognized that I was getting very built up, and I took the time to recognize that, okay, I am feeling this way. I do not want to hurt any feelings. So I will just state outright, okay, this is exactly what I'm feeling right now. I do not want to harm our friendship. I need some time away to collect myself and put down my thoughts in a way that's much more constructive. I stepped away, came back, and said, okay, these are the things that I wanted to make sure that we hit. That way you are understanding a little bit more of my situation. And because I did take that time to just, recognize what was happening, recognizing what's happening with myself, and then putting these things down, we were able to, maintain our friendship. And this friend was now able to see, he's like, oh, okay, I didn't consider those things. And because I know you and you actually took the time to not attack, to actually go like, I will take these things even more deeply now too, because by not attacking that person, they were not defensive at all. They were able to be much more open to everything that was happening. It's like, okay, so again, so this is Stoicism in action. And again, that's also self-care because, like, yes, I did not want to ruin a friendship over something that could be resolved logically and calmly, but I just had to recognize that first. Let's see. Um, Jumping back here, there was like, again, Stoicism has been used throughout history. Obviously, one of the greatest emperors of Rome was Marcus Aurelius. I guys thought that was that. Yes, and he used Stoicism to help him win a lot of the major battles, uh, all while dealing with the loss of his own children. And he would just write in a journal. And journaling is another big thing about Stoicism. You just write every day for as much as you can, and just to get your thoughts out. Because it's as they build up inside you, it can be a detriment. Just get it all out on paper. And then after you do so, you can use that time to reflect. You can go back and read what you wrote and say, like, okay, I was dealing with this. This is how I reacted. Now I know in the future, if this situation happens again, that these are the things at play. And so it's just like very much about self-reflection, very much about examination. And these are all things that the Jedi use, where all of our classes, I would say half of the lessons at least are about reflecting on your day. So again, the Jedi path, Stoicism, very much alive. In those journals that Marcus Aurelius would write, he would actually those journals would actually be used to help guide and comfort Nelson Mandela during his imprisonment. And after his release and then eventual victory, he would stress peace, talk about reconciliation. And again, while he did see that the injustices of the past can't be changed, we can correct them now. And we can use what we know now to build a more just future. Again, justice, reflection. Stoicism has also influenced people like Thomas Aquinas, who was a Christian theologian. And he's the one who kind of changed the virtues a little bit. Instead of focusing on wisdom, temperance, justice, courage, he boiled it down to three things and just said it's faith, charity, and hope, or faith, love, and hope, depending on your translation. But again, those things were still kind of echoed in there. There's even the self-help movements of within the past 30 years or so, talking about the rational emotive behavioral therapy, which is focusing on changing your self-defeating attitude. Stop beating up yourself, rather just be prepared for what's going to happen next. Yeah, let's see, the whole idea about tranquility of the mind, which is talked about a lot in Nirvana and Buddhism, is very similar to what the Stoics also called of ataraxia. And Epictetus would write about the suffering that happens not from events in our lives, but the way we reflect on them. just our own judgments. And again, we are hardest ourselves. For those who are parents, you always are wondering and questioning, is what I'm doing going to be right for my child? Is this action like, and that's going to be happening every single day. Is what I'm doing right? But that's actually a good idea, a sign that you're actually a good parent, because it's the bad parents who don't care. It's the good parents who are always questioning. And the same like for myself, who is a teacher of young children, every day I'm wondering, am I catching them? Am I doing enough? Am I doing this? Will this work with them? That's self-doubt, not quite. It's more reflection. It's more goal setting, making sure I am prepared for when these situations happen. It is only self-doubt when you start lingering in it. And then that becomes your everything. You need to be able to exist in the now. Yeah. I will say, I don't think any of us are ever going to be running an empire. Um, Maybe you will. And if you do, I'd love to see it because, yeah, I'm sure your empires are going to be glorious. But aside from that, we will, though, encounter our own share of struggles. Yeah, we talked about some of the things about, the view from above, about planning your day. When you plan your day, some of the things that you need to make sure is what are the goals you want to accomplish, preparing for things that can go wrong, how will you act, how will you interact, what are the conversations you need to happen that need to happen with people. It's just all these little things. Like I know Allie is one person who does a lot of this planning, and I know Sophia is another one. Like she likes to focus a lot on the interpersonal interactions with people, and says, okay, I need to talk to this person, this person, this person, this person, and yes, so like I am in awe of those two people because like they are living out this and they didn't even know it. But then with journaling, as I mentioned, you got to be able to review your day. What happened? How did you feel? What went right? What went wrong? What did you learn? What can you do differently? But there's something else to do as well, is just read the Stoics, read the philosophers. And I can give out a list of several of those people. But yeah, and it's the same with in the Jedi Path. You want to always make sure that you go back to the texts, read through who was writing about motions, what they're saying about training, what they're saying about all of this. There's always other people who walk this path before you. Look to them for guidance. Oh, I love this one. Yes, thank you, Antoine. Your favorite Aurelius quote is the secret of all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Antoine, if you would like to say a little bit more about that, why is that your favorite? It's a great quote. It really is. Like, why is this your favorite? Or if you just want us to ponder it, that's fine as well. Yes. Invitation to asking more questions. Yep. And yes, absolutely. Because the more questions you have, then yeah, the more you can prepare for, the more you can just anticipate, not necessarily expect, but anticipate what may happen and just be ready for it. And oh, Robin?
Yeah. Can I ask a question, right? I already do
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Like my head will think of every possible scenario of something already, and my head will go spinning for hours. So like that frightens me a little bit because thinking about what could possibly happen is already what I do, and I'm very good at it. And I think I'm not cussing what you're saying. I'm just saying, for somebody's head who's already likes doing that,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
like really. it, I don't know how to say it. But for
Oh
someone
no,
who already thinks of every possible eventuality, that doesn't fill me with joy. Is that
got
the
it.
best way to
Yes.
put it?
Oh yes, that makes sense.
You know
And
what I
then
mean?
you want to take it to the next step and actually just start doing something. You don't want to get lost in the wheel of yeah, the wheels turning and saying, okay, could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? And that can be bring along a lot of anxiety. Yes, absolutely. Uh, and there does come a point when you just have to start putting things into action. It may even be something as simple as giving yourself a timer of saying, okay, I'm going to think about all these things for 10 minutes. Okay, now those 10 minutes are up. Okay, now I'm going to go do. Just setting a little bit of a restraint on yourself so that you know that you want to give yourself permission to do that because that's how your brain works and that's how your brain operates. Let it. But then just set that little timer and saying, okay, now I need to go to this next thing. Yes, because again, working with kids on a daily basis, they're going to be kids. They need to run around. They need to scream. They need to yell. So give them that space to do that and say, but then redirect and say, okay, now that you're moving, let's go and sit down. You need to work on this thing. It's like, okay, you take a break from what you were doing there because I know you're playing. We need to get this writing done as well. Just take a break and let's do this. Now you can go back. So yeah, it's the same. Whatever happens with the kids is the same for us. We're just bigger kids. We're older kids, but we are exact same kind of behavior. We can just allow what is natural for you to happen, and then just continue. And then this is something that's very true for me. I love joking around with Allie and saying like I'm going to bury her one day. But something that's very big with the Stoics is remember death. That to everything there is a season, a time to be born, a time to die. That yes, you know at some point you're going to die. You don't want to live a life of regrets. What is it that you need to accomplish before that happens so that you know you've had a happy, filled life? I love this quote from Jean-Luc Picard in Generations. Yes, I'm also a fan of Star Trek. And he goes, someone once told me that time was a predator that stalked us all our lives. But I rather believe that time is a companion who goes with us on the journey and reminds us to cherish every moment because they'll never come again. What we leave behind is not as important as how we lived. And that really stuck with me. And even before that, is I actually went through a shamanic training. And part of our training was we would lie in sand. We'd have to dig a grave for ourselves, write our own eulogy, and have somebody read it. And as you're lying in the grave, and then they put a blanket over you and they throw sand over you, simulating the burial, reading the eulogy, it just opened my eyes, it opened my soul to saying, like, yes, at some point this is going to happen. What do I want people to say about me? What do I want people to remember about me? And then they would also continue saying things like, do I want to have like these goals unfinished? Do I want to make sure that my family is in turmoil? No, I want to make sure that they're safe. I want to make sure that they're complete. I want to make sure that the Chicago Jedi are thriving without me. They cannot, like, if they fall and they disperse because I am not there with them, then I did not do my job at leading them, at training them to continue. That's where I failed. If the IJF, like after stepping down, was not succeeding, then I did not help in laying the groundwork. I failed. The right people were not picked to continue. So that's no, but we see it thriving. We see everything continuing, everything going strong. COVID had happened. Chicago Jedi continued after because they were strong, and I helped to make sure that IJF is strong. We have a wonderful president with a lot of energy, and just I am so thankful that these bodies, that these organizations, that these entities exist and continue. Because at some point, you're not going to be there. Yes, Michael.
Yeah, just to say 100%. And just to add, if I may interrupt, just to add another part of this aspect is really important for me too, right? And another part of this is to understand that there's always stuff that's going to be undone, you know, stuff that we haven't done that day, stuff that there's always a to-do list, right? If we're making that plan, there's always stuff that we haven't done. So it's to be with peace at that, you know, to find peace in that too. And another thing that's really important for me, right, is when I'm saying goodbye to someone, to understand that may be the last goodbye that I'm going to say. You know, like today, for example, today at 4 o'clock, just before 4 o'clock, my daughter left our family home to go to her university city. You know, could be the last time I ever see her, you know. But not only for those big journeys, at every journey, every time I say goodbye to someone, every moment I'm with someone, it could be the last. It could be the last. And that's something I truly feel, and it's something I like to express to my kids at school, to my students, to my family, with the understanding that this time may be the last, because one day it will be the last, and we just don't know when. You know, we just don't know. Okay, I'll shut up.
And, no, thanks for you for that. Absolutely, yes. Every day could be your last, because it could be the last breath you take, or it could be the last breath that they take. Anything can happen, but you want to make sure that you lead a life worth living. That is the key takeaway. One more question I'd like to ask with that in mind is, if you did know that you were going to die today, what is it that you want to be known for? What is it that you want to have accomplished? Yeah, that you don't have to share, but you can just go ahead and start thinking about that as a way to just make sure you keep things in perspective. Absolutely, as Michael was saying, that there's going to be a large list of things that are going to be on your to-do list. So what is it that you want to prioritize? Sophia.
If it was my last, which they very well could be, I've had, I will say at least I had a large part of my life where that was an everyday thing, you know, and of course, always that's an everyday thing. And, you know, I would want to be at least remembered that as a creator, as a person that spread love, you know, one that healed people around them and made the ones around them laugh. And even like after I died today, I still made you laugh. You know, that's what, yeah.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. Like I know for myself, like I want to be known as one of my good friends, Boom, likes to say, she likes to say, I'm a mensch. Yeah, I'm just basically a good guy. Yes, I will come into a clinch when people need help, and I am always a good listening ear. That's what I want people to know me as. Like this, just generally a good guy. That I know that the world was better with me in it. And I don't want to say that the world is better without me either, though, because I just want to say that the world will continue. It is what it is. And I have just done my part in making it better. And I hope the people after me will continue to do so. So, yes, I've had my mentors to train me to be this good person, to be this good Jedi. I want to be able to leave my mark to be amongst those mentors as well, so that they will look to my things, to my writings, to my teachings to help them continue their life as well. So I am just one more link in the chain. Let's see what else. Let's see. And so that we don't end up on the whole thing of more like the whole morbid part, I want to bring this to viewing more life like you're in the Olympic Games. That here, another quote from Epictetus is to make up your mind, therefore, before it is too late, that the fitting thing for you to do is to live as a mature person who is making progress, and let everything which seems to you to be best for you a law that must not be transgressed. And if you meet anything that is laborious or sweet, or held in high repute, or in no repute, remember that now is the contest, and here before you are the Olympic Games, and that is impossible to delay any longer, and that it depends on a single day and a single action whether progress is lost or saved. So again, yes, every day is the Olympic Games. Every day you're training, every day you are competing, every day you're acting. So there are things that you need to make sure that you have done so that you are in the best shape as possible. And then that way you can go and get the gold. And anything that allows you to progress even one little bit, then that makes today a good day. And I love that again, as like having trained with Master Raphael Ben Raven in martial arts. It's just that, yeah, you're never competing against other people, that you're only competing against yourself. And you always want to make sure that today you're a little bit better than you were yesterday. And that's all that anyone can ask. And that's absolutely true. And that's also a very stoic mindset. Just make today better than yesterday. And that's progress. So even if you've gone 3 steps forward and taken 2 steps back, that's still at least 1 step forward. If you do end up taking a step back overall, don't beat yourself up over it. Just make tomorrow better and continue as best as possible. So again, this is all in line with the Jedi Compass, the Jedi path, that you want to make sure you do what you can to overcome your emotions through journaling, through reflection, overcome recklessness through planning, and overcome your attachments through just, taking that view from above, that you can, have positive regard and treat others with justice, making sure you take that courage to actually take that leap to put out all of these things into action. Right? This is all very much in the Jedi Compass. The Stoicism and the Jedi Compass are hand in hand. And now instead of just, going through all the texts of the Jedi Compass, the sextant, the labyrinth, all of that stuff, now you have much more volumes of work also open to you, with all of the Stoics as well. And again, it's just I love the Stoics. It's a little hard to digest at first, but once you get those core concepts, then it's much easier. And I would always suggest the meditation by Marcus Aurelius is a good way to jump off. Because again, even though, yes, he was an emperor, he was a soldier, he was also a man, he was also a father. And you get to see the journals, the actual writings of a person who's just doing his best every single day. And that's all we can do. And with that, I am complete.